Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to another mind blowing program today. Now, before I talk about this program, let me ask a question. Have you seen there are few people in our life around us, be it in our social circle or in our office, they're able to handle difficult situations much more easily. They choose to be calm and relaxed even in difficult and challenging times. They choose not to react, but they proactively act. They're not unreasonable or angry. They're very reasonable and logical. They don't break relationships, they build relationships. Now, those people are great leaders, and we truly look up to them as our role models because they have one skill that makes them a champion. And today, I'm going to talk about that skill so that you become one of those. Well, in a layman's term, we always address them as, wow, this person is so mature, he's so wise. But you know what? What is that one skill that they really use very well? That one skill is called emotional intelligence. And today, you and I will learn emotions and you abide on emotional intelligence together so that you become highly successful while you're managing your emotions and handling difficult situations. Now, before I take you deep in this program, let me take an example to explain one very interesting point to you. Now, this is a story about Raj and Renu. Raj and Renu recently got married, and after 10 years of their marriage, they decide to go to a lovely vacation together. Now, Raj is very excited as he's driving his brand new car. Unfortunately, they started a little late, so he was trying to hurry up. So he drives his car, he gets on the highway, and he takes a left turn to get to the main road. Now, when he gets to the main highway, unfortunately, a biker overtakes him in a wrong way, and he had to slam brakes immediately, hard brakes, right there and then itself. And there was this jerk that Raj and Renu, they both felt together. Raj got extremely angry. He moved out of the car and he started shouting and yelling. And Renu, sitting inside, felt very bad about it. And she said, we're not going for any vacation right now. I'm not in a good mood right now. I want to go home. And that event that they had planned, that moment that they had planned to celebrate, everything fizzled out and they decided to go back home. They couldn't go on a vacation that day. Now, what do you think happened here? And what do you think Raj could have done differently? Raj could have definitely handled the whole situation differently. Yes. Now, today, you and I will talk about how you and I can handle situations like this much easily than ever before. Because at one point of life, all of us have had a situation like this, but because of somebody else, we realized because of somebody else or situation, we became so upset that we lost control and things went really bad. Now, not anymore, because you're going to learn that great skill with me today. My dear friends, this is called emotional intelligence. Today, we're going to talk about what is emotional intelligence, 4 keys to be emotional intelligence, and 3 magical steps to control negative emotions and translate them instantly to positive emotions. If you're ready to learn this topic and you're excited, give me a thumbs up and say yes. All right, that's beautiful. Now, let's understand what is emotional intelligence. Well, here's what emotional intelligence is all about. In a simple way, it is about emotional intelligence is the ability to understand your own emotions and manage your own emotions positively. Then managing other people's emotions constructively. It has got 2 key dimensions. The first is understanding and expressing your own emotions in the right way. And second is being empathic while you're communicating with others and managing relationships better. Now, how can you become a champion? You will become a superstar on this topic when we focus on those 4 key dimensions of emotional intelligence. Let's talk about the first dimension. Now, coming back to Raj's situation, Raj was hurrying up because he was late when he started. Now, Raj wasn't really aware about his emotions at that time. He was hurrying up. He was already in some kind of a stress, some kind of a stress that he has to really get moving because they started late. It is very important to understand what you're feeling in your life. It is important to be thoughtful about yourself because that is the first step if you want to conquer negative emotions. Now, what self-awareness, the first dimension talks about, is about being aware of your own emotions and your own reaction. Being aware and mindful about your body language. Am I feeling a little stern and firm right now, or in the good mood right now, or am I feeling relaxed and happy with a smile on my face. What is my tone of voice? Am I harsh? Am I feeling angry? Or am I speaking humbly, nicely, and politely with people? And it's about your usual attitude that you have. Are you happy and positive? Or are you feeling sad or negative or angry? So the first important point that you need to master if you really want to be intelligent, emotionally intelligent, is you got to be able to understand yourself. So keep an eye on yourself. Be mindful of your own self. And how you could do this is by simply taking some time for yourself and making sure that when you are with yourself, and just be relaxed and just choose to make sure that you are aware of how you're feeling, because sometimes we are not very aware of how we are feeling right now. If you're in a bad mood, you have to really make a decision to change that, and we're going to talk about that in the next step. Now, my dear friends, after you know yourself really well, the second very important step that you got to master is called self-regulation. Now, Raj knew that he's hurrying up. What he should have done immediately is he should have been calm and relaxed. He has to choose to be able to control himself, right? It's very important. When that biker zigzagged and crossed him in the wrong way, he should have understood it is not the right way for me to get angry right now. I should be calm and relaxed. That immediate shift of moving from negative emotion to positive emotion. It's about controlling your anger. It's about channelizing your energy in the right direction. It's about not letting circumstances or people overtake and emotionally hijack your emotions, right? It happens a lot. Let's say you're standing in a queue and you're buying a ticket and somebody suddenly pushes you from the back. You feel very upset, but then you have to give yourself a second to understand, okay, let me take charge, let me be relaxed and respond positively rather than reacting. And that's not right. Now, what is the next step? The next step is, if you look at the same situation, Raj and Renu, Raj was very upset. And Renu also felt the same jerk. Raj, what he could have done at that moment is, the moment he slammed his brake, he must have focused immediately on his wife Renu, saying, relax Renu, just take a deep breath. I'm with you, have some water. Okay, you're feeling better? Good. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes we have these challenges on the road, isn't it? Yeah. Now, both of them should have understood each other's situation well, and it is needed, it is important that Raj should have empathized effectively with Renu, and if she was feeling a little upset, it is his responsibility to make her feel great. Now, that is called empathy. It's about being aware of other people's feeling. How are they feeling? Listening to Renu. If Renu is really angry too, listening to her for a while and then channelizing her negative energy into positivity. It is important for you to make sure when someone is feeling sad or upset, do something to make them feel better. In Raj's case, it is important that Raj stops the car and offers some water, gives her 5 minutes of good listening, makes her feel comfortable before they get back on the road and they head on for the vacation. Now, can you practice this in real life as well? Of course you can. Imagine a situation, you're working in office, okay? And there's someone who comes to office quickly, and then you realize the fact that he's not in a good mood. Now, you go and understand what's going on. He says, you know what, I was driving my brand new car and unfortunately got a little scratch in the traffic signal. Now, there are two ways of looking at the situation. One, you could tell him, oh, that's usual in Mumbai traffic. It's usual in Delhi traffic. Come on. That's okay. When you go for service, ask them to remove it. They can do that for you, all right? Don't worry about that. It happens. One way of doing that. Second way of approaching to the entire situation differently is this. You could have said, hey, Akash, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, don't worry. I am with you. We will make sure we find a solution. You know what? The place where I live, my locality, I have a very good painter, and this guy is a master in removing scratch. And if you can, on Sunday, if you can come to my home, and I'll personally take you to this place, and we will get this scratch removed in 5 minutes, guaranteed. You will be back in action. The car is going to look as new as it was when you bought it. My promise to you. And then he would have felt happy. The point that I'm trying to make is there are two ways of handling a situation like that. In the first situation, when you speak to your friend, you say, okay, that's normal, it happens, just take a chill, okay? In the second situation, what you do is you tell him that, don't worry, I am with you, you come to my place, we'll together get to this denter's place and we'll get the car fixed. Now, the difference is, in the first situation, it ends with sympathy. Sympathy is about just giving golden words and making them feel comfortable. In the second situation, you ended your conversation with an action. And that's what empathy is all about. Sympathy ends with words. Empathy ends with action. If you genuinely want to win the hearts and minds of people and you want to be perceived as a great person, which you are, absolutely, I suggest be empathic towards people rather than being sympathetic towards people. You sometimes might not be able to do a lot for them. They don't expect a lot. They just want you to be a good listener. They just want you to at least do whatever best you possibly can in a situation like that. And that is good enough. But please do that. And here's the fourth very important part of emotional intelligence, and that is called effective relationship development. Now, human beings, we all are very social people. We love working with those people who love connecting naturally with us, isn't it? It happens to all of us. So therefore, if you want to be a great team member, you want to be a great team leader, you are supposed to be taking initiative to connect with everybody in your team. When you work in a team, you know what happens is, let's say my team got 10 people. Well, I'll have a very good relationship with only 2 because I connect with them very often. But I forget there are 8 more important people that I need to have good relationships with. So I must take initiative to connect with every single person so that we all are together and we are rocking together as a great team. It's about prioritizing relationship beyond egos. Sometimes there are a few things that you feel bad about, all right? And you think that, okay, because I felt bad, I would not go and speak to that person. But great leaders, they park their ego aside and they prioritize the joy of building relationships. So in situations like that, give priority to the relationship, not your own egos. Now, and the last point is be respectful, be supportive, be non-judgmental, and be willing to collaborate with people. Be a great team leader, team member who wants to collaborate, who enjoys the joy of working together. Appreciate people. That's a great way to bond with people. When you like something in them, tell them, wow, I like your shirt. I think the color that you chose suits your personality. You're looking wonderful today. Good, good. I like the way you handle that customer. I think what I liked most about you was the fact that you were able to handle their query so well. And when the customer walked in, he was so angry, but the way you spoke to him really calmed him a lot. You did a great job. Find out great talents in people and appreciate. That will not only help you in creating joy in their mind, but will also help you build good relationship with them. So I'm sure you're going to do that. Let's revise all that we have learned today. We talked about 4 key essentials or competencies of emotional intelligence. The first one was self-awareness. The second one is self-regulation. Take charge of yourself. The third is empathy. Remember, sympathy ends with words, empathy ends with action. And the fourth one is called effective relationship. You have to be someone who takes initiative to build good relationship with everybody in the team. All right? You prioritize relationship beyond egos and problems and challenges because you want to be a great relationship builder, isn't it? Say yes. If you think that's a good idea, just type in the comment box and say, of course. All right, great. So my dear friends, now 2 important aspects to understand. Self-awareness and self-regulation relates to ourselves. This is for me. I got to be aware of my emotions and I got to be in charge of my emotions. I should have the ability to control myself. I'm going to give you a beautiful tip as we wrap up this topic. Now, and the next 2 is applicable to relationship and to people around us. So please make sure you practice these 4 amazing ideas to be awesome when you're working with people. Now, it is time for me to give you a golden technique, and I call that 3 steps to win. Now, you and I, we all have seen the traffic signals. It turns red, it turns yellow, it turns green. Yeah, we got 3 lights. Now, listen, imagine a situation. We're going back to the same topic, Raj, okay? Imagine a situation. Wow, what happens is, by the way, what the lights tell us is, red stands for stop. The yellow stands for check. And the green says, now go. Yeah, we all know that, of course. Now, in a situation like Raj, where he realized that there is a biker overtaking in the wrong way, the first step that is needed at that time is called this: stop, which means don't react immediately. Stop. All right? Understand the whole situation. Analyze the best option to exercise in that situation. That's called check. And the third is, when you have understood the situation really well, trust me, when you give yourself 5 seconds before you react, that 5-second time of checking is called the gap of infinite possibilities. If you give 5 seconds to yourself, your mind will find logical ways, wonderful ways to handle situations more maturely. You will not react. you would act proactively, because you know that reaction is a thoughtless process. You will respond, and responding is a thoughtful process. So if you really want to respond in a thoughtful manner, you got to check. Give yourself 5 seconds before you start acting, and then you choose the right reaction or the right action, and then you go. So stop, check, and go. Stop, check, and go. And here's my kind submission to you. All you got to do is, whenever you realize there's something really, really kind of getting on your nerves, don't immediately act on that. Stop for a while, check, give yourself 5 seconds to think beautiful ways, to look at it differently, and then go and then act in the right way. I'm sure you're going to use these 3-step technique in your life really well. If you're excited to try this, please give me a thumbs up and say, absolutely. All right, I'm so proud of you. Now, my dear friends, just to summarize, what we quickly learned today is emotional intelligence, which is your ability to control your emotions and then manage relationships effectively. We learned 3 topics. We talked about emotional intelligence, 4 dimensions of emotional intelligence, and I gave you a wonderful 3-step process to win. I'm sure you love these ideas. Here's my request to you. If you're liking this program and you found it useful, do me a favor. Tell me which of these techniques that you learned you are going to work effectively. All right. Are you ready to work on the 3-step technique? Are you ready to work on managing emotions effectively? How would you do this? What is going to be your immediate action plan as a result of this program? Do me a favor and do send an email to wonderful team in the HR team, the wonderful HR team that looks after L&D. And send an email to priyanka.thakur@hdfcbank.com. She'll be very happy to look at your comments, your inputs, because we are trying to create a community of great implementers, people who take learnings and they put that to use. And they're going to appreciate you for all the great stuff that you will put to action as a result of this training program. So please write an email to priyanka.thakur@hdfcbank.com and tell her how you plan to use learning from this 20-minute session in your life. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share a very interesting story for you to remember. Now, you know what happened? This is about a wonderful boy. Once upon a time, there was this boy who was really, really in love with pets. And one day he wanted to buy a sweet little puppy. So he goes to his mom and says, Mama, I want to buy a puppy for myself. Mama says, yes, son, definitely. I will gift one to you, or you could purchase one for yourself. But before you go and do this, I want you to score good marks in the term exams. Sure, Mama, I'm going to work pretty hard. Mama says, all right, good. Now the boy works pretty hard, and guess what? He scores great marks. And then he earns his gift. So he goes to his mom and says, Mom, see, I've got some great scores. Now I have earned a puppy for myself, haven't I? Says, yes, of course. Here's the money. Go ahead and get one for yourself. Now the boy goes happily out from his place, and very close to his home on the turn there was this beautiful pet shop. So he gets into the pet shop, and guess what he finds? He finds beautiful puppies cuddling with each other, playing with each other. It was a great time. He was extremely happy to see all of those. Now, he was just checking out those lovely puppies, and suddenly his eyes strike a puppy in the corner, kept alone, and there was no one playing with that puppy. He was all by himself, kept in the corner, and there was some water kept next to it. So curiously, this guy asks the shopkeeper and says, Sir, why is this puppy kept aside, and why is he not mixing up with the rest of them? The shopkeeper says, Son, that puppy was born with his hip joint bone missing. He can't walk properly. He's a limp puppy. And therefore he's kept there because he's not for sale. And we're going to put him to sleep soon. The boy feels very sad. He requests the shopkeeper and says, can I go and just have a look at that puppy? Say, yeah, go ahead. The boy hurriedly goes to that puppy kept in the corner. And the moment he approaches, the little puppy opens up his eyes and loves him with a lot of beautiful, amazing feelings. And the boy feels connected with that puppy. Now, the boy lifts up that puppy and goes to the shopkeeper and says, here's all the money that I have. But I'm not taking any of those healthy puppies. I would like to go home with this puppy. The shopkeeper says, okay, but tell me, why did you choose this limp puppy over these healthy ones? My dear friends, the shopkeeper gives no answer. All he does is he just lifts one of the sides of his trouser, and the shopkeeper gets the biggest lesson of his life. He observes that the boy himself was a disabled child and he was on a prosthetic limb. And the shopkeeper understood that there is somebody in this world who can best understand the pain of this puppy. It is this boy. My dear friends, that's the learning from this great story. Here's the learning from the great story. The learning from the story is, in your life and my life, the only person that can understand someone's pain is who has a desire to understand their world. And therefore, it is important for us to understand that when people go through tough times, it is important to stand with them. It is important to be with them. It is important to try and understand what pains these guys are facing. And that's called empathy. So what this boy did was, his action did not end with sympathetic words, but his action ended with empathy, wherein he really took an action to take that puppy home despite all the challenges. My dear friends, that is exactly what you got to do in your life as well. When you see someone in pain, empathize with them. You know what? Here's what I understand in my life about pain and problems. You can't feel you can't understand what it feels like to be 90 years old unless you are 90 years old. It is important for you to understand that it is not easy to feel somebody's pain. What is important for you is to give your best that you possibly can when somebody is in pain. And that's the true meaning of empathy. Do something for people the best you possibly can. And I'm sure you definitely will. Friends, I would like to congratulate you for completing this program. If you like this course and you would like to connect with me, you're most welcome to join my LinkedIn community. And you can definitely search for me on LinkedIn by simply typing Ashish Singh, Star Consulting Global, and be a friend. If you have any questions to ask, you can always comment right there. I'll be very happy to help you. I must thank you once again for being a part of this great learning session. You are a genius. Thanks for tuning up. See you again. I'm always with you anytime in life, whenever, wherever, and forever. Thank you, champions. Have a rocking time ahead.